Well, Cinema Night Podcast, episode 215, if you're keeping score at home. CinemaNightPodcast at gmail.com. We have no emails today, but we will be focusing on the main event, and all three of us are back together for Travis's selection, known as Cold Pursuit, 2019 film, starring this guy right here, if you're watching on YouTube, Liam Neeson, and we'll get to that shortly. But Eric, Michael, and Travis are back together again. Travis, you were in Thanksgiving land, if you will.
West Virginia is Thanksgiving land. Yeah, it was with family. It was nice. It was a nice trip, and got to spend time with my mom and my aunt, my sister, my mom. Wait, my Nana. Said my mom twice. Anyways, it was nice. It was good.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Did you watch any VHSs?
No VHSs. They're in the now. We stream. So we did watch. There was some movie watching. A lot of Fox News. Always a lot of Fox News with the stepdad. Oh boy,
damn.
That was rough. It always is, but it was extra rough this trip.
Yeah, cable news falling on hard times, but not Fox News. They're hanging tough. Good for them.
Yeah, well, state media.
StateRunMedia.com. Travis, Eric, are you happy with what you got in the mail? Because Travis went out of his way to get both of us a holiday gift, and mine arrived today.
It did.
Thank you so much for that beautiful 6-hour. There it is right there. The super doc. There it is. The super doc of the century. RoboDoc.
Now you have no excuse but to watch it.
Look at this thing.
Can't wait.
You're all jealous right now. If you can see this, look how awesome this cover is. It's badass.
Yeah, I think you guys are going to like it. I'm
wait.
excited to talk to you about it. I bought it for
Blu-ray.
myself so I could talk about it with you guys. Basically, I bought it for you so I could talk about it with you.
Well, this is something I always cherish, though. This is great. I mean, I have very few DVDs. I think we've had a couple of runs here. We had, of course, we all have a copy of
First Reformed.
First Reformed. Thank you very much. And then Steve also gave everyone a copy. Was it Steve? Gave everybody a copy of Roadhouse?
Yeah, Laskowski gave everybody a copy of Roadhouse. That's true.
Right? You guys, I got mine still. So
Roadhouse.
Those are the two DVDs I recall. This is the third now in the Cinema 9 collection, if you will. So.
And and since you don't have Shudder, whatever the fuck it's on, you could now watch RoboDoc.
Absolutely. I'm very excited to. I'm going to be watching it this weekend, no doubt. So thank you very much. This is a lovely gift.
Merry Christmas.
Appreciate it.
Hey, well, I'm Jewish. What if I don't observe? Oh, shit, dude. What are you going to do now?
I love Christmas in a secular sense. It's purely commercial Christmas. Like the empty, vapid Christmas. That's the Christmas for me.
Yeah, of course. That's the best one. Everyone loves that one. We can all get together on that.
The best parts of Christmas are like Yule traditions anyways that predate Christianity. So fuck it.
So when Christmas music's playing, I guess you tune out when like the Christ version. What is some of the Christ?
I will listen to all Christmas music and I don't give a fuck. I don't care if it's Jesus-y or not. I don't care.
Isn't there? Well, there are some like something about a manger.
What child is this?
What child is this? Right? Yeah, that's. Actually, Leanne said that the other day. We were doing our Christmas decorations, which looked beautiful, and we were listening to Christmas music. Well, a little bit of everything, A little bit of Monica by my side, a little bit of Amber. Remember that song? Boy, that was a big deal in 1999. Mambo number 5. Jesus Christ!
You ever listening to the radio in the car and like a rock song comes on? You're like, this is not bad. What is this? And then like the singer starts talking about him, and you're like, oh.
Actually, that happened to me yesterday because I got a shuttle ride back. I was at the mechanic, and they gave me a ride back to the house. And when they turned the car on, it was apparently her boss's car, and that's what was on. Apparently, locally, long ago. Sad to say, Eric, 93.1, which used to be known as Light FM back in the 80s and 90s, now is a Christian rock station. So
I'll be damned.
My dad, every time I get in his car, it's Christian rock, and it's like literally like a love song. Just replace the girl with Jesus.
I know. It sounds like modern pop, except it's Christ.
Yeah. Make Jesus out for a jelly dog and whatever the fuck.
Tell you a story about Jack and Jesus Christ.
Oh, there it is. Well, no emails like we said, but email the show, Cinema 9 Pod. Obviously, Eric, nobody responded to what you offered. You were really curious to know what people thought last week about.
Was it?
Yeah,
Zit
Zits
talk.
and Thanksgiving, a lot of things. Man, nobody responds. Come on, you
Can
people. Where
can
are
we
you?
pause? Can we pause and have 8 minutes of Mike vamping by himself? Can we do that?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. I
Promise
mean,
to edit.
We're already 6 minutes in. That's too much. We need to start because
I got to tell you, I don't think you would necessarily agree with my Pedro Pascal comments, Travis, would you?
I understand them. A little bit of
Okay.
oversaturation. I still like the man, but
Me
I'm
too.
watching TV. I'm like, why are you selling me Coronas, bro? You're busy as fuck. What are you doing?
I think you nailed it. So, yeah, we're on the same page then. I like him a lot. It's just, yeah, maybe take 5. But as we move into quarantine viewing picks, QVPs, do you have any Ice Storm thoughts you want to share with us?
I was not there for your guys' Ice Storm episode last week, and you guys spoke about it in very glowing terms. I would have shit all over it for you. I would have. I came at it from a very the scene where Kevin Kline bursts into tears. I literally burst into laughter.
Wow.
Yeah, I literally burst into laughter. I'm like, what the fuck else are you gonna do? Oh, that's it. Oh, okay.
Interesting.
I couldn't argue that it wasn't well acted and well shot, and I thought your comparisons to Noah Baumbach were dead on, but I'm not a huge Noah Baumbach fan. And to me, this was a pretty plotting and rather dull, not entirely dull, but rather dull movie about watching people insisting on making terrible choices, following through with those terrible choices, then being surprised and upset at the results. I just found it a little bit tedious. So it didn't hold up for me.
Don't take it personally, Eric. It's okay.
You didn't make the movie or anything.
I can't necessarily disagree with what you're saying. I just looked at it from a different angle, but that's good. That's why we do the show. We'd love to have you back. We're glad to have you back with further opinions. What else would you like to share with us this week?
Yeah, it was fascinating listening to your guys' episode because I was like, wow, we watched the same movie.
I know, yeah.
I watched this fantastic short film called Tattletale from the year 2024.
Oh,
Oh, God, here it is.
heard some good things.
I was told that I shouldn't wait to talk about it until the podcast, but that's exactly what I've done. I thoroughly enjoyed Tattletale, the micro budget, or I guess even no budget film made by our co-host, Eric Brandstrom. You can find it at his YouTube channel, Slithery D, or just look up Tattletale horror short film or something along those lines. And yeah, definitely inventive and fun. And I thought that your lead actress did a fine job as well. Well, your only real actress other than a child. And of course, you are funding, crowdsourcing your next one. You should plug that too, buddy. His next one will not be a micro budget. It will have a budget of however much money is donated to Eric through, what's it called? Indigo?
Yeah, Indiegogo. I set up a
Indiegogo.
crowdfunding campaign. Usually I can kind of just like go out into the wild and make these, but like as my like dreams get bigger, like I'm starting to think big, and I'm like, why contain my stories? I'll just think big and then see if I can make it happen. This time I'm broadening my spectrum, and I've got bigger characters, bigger stories, set needs, makeup needs, like blood and creature effect needs, and all this other stuff. So yeah, there's a campaign out there. You can go to my YouTube, Slithery D Films, and watch my pitch video. That was difficult to make.
Oh,
on my
shit.
own.
It was a pitch video?
Yeah,
You
it
made a
was
full-on pitch
hard.
video.
Full-on pitch video. It was, oh man, my hat was in my hand, and yeah, Travis, I want to say thank you to your first contribution.
Yeah, of
First
course.
contribution to the campaign. Appreciate your support.
Wait, are you suggesting that I'll have more contributions? Is that what you're like? That's my
First
first
of
of
many.
many contributions.
Yeah, first of many.
Oh, we should say that you're not a wealthy man either, so it's very generous of you.
I'm not a wealthy man, Michael.
Yeah.
No,
Literally,
not
I'm
a
not.
wealthy man, Michael.
I'm not yet. That's awesome. Wow. Okay. Also, that also means you'll have to probably talk about it more often too. Sorry, I know that it was already painstaking for you to make videos about it, and you don't like to talk about it much on our show. But this is the new step you've taken, Eric, and I
Yep,
want to commend
and
Travis for
self-promotion.
bringing it up, and we're happy to support you all the way. So let's party. Let's do this. Let's make it happen. We're going to see you at TIFF 2028, man. I'll be there.
Thank you very much. Appreciate the support. Is that all you watched, Travis? Or
Well, I actually watched it over and over and over. I made my family watch it a few times. No, I'm just-
Jesus.
I watched a few movies. I went on a little bit of a Western kick to start things off. I went back and checked in on Fistful of Dollars and For a Few Dollars More, which I hadn't watched in a while.
Oh.
I still need to watch or rewatch Good, Bad, and the Ugly, but I picked up the Blu-ray here, so I figured, I wanted to watch like the
Guy loves Blu-ray.
yeah, when I can find good deals. And oh man, I gotta say, For a Few Dollars More was always my favorite, but watching it recently, I was like, oh, this movie's a little more dull than I remember it being, a little slow. Like, when are we gonna get to the good stuff? And I'm like, oh, I think I'm thinking of Good, Bad, and the Ugly, maybe. Anyways, and then I checked in on another Western I'd never seen before, an Australian Western. I watched Quigley Down Under from the year 1990.
Yeah, you love Tom Selleck.
I love Tom Selleck. I'd never seen Quigley Down Under. You guys, it's a pretty good movie. It's a pretty good movie. There's some white savior shit going on, but it's very much like fuck Alan Rickman, who's playing a wonderful villain like always, especially in these times, and getting into the whole attempted and near eradication genocide of the Aboriginal people of Australia. And this guy comes in as a sniper from America, and he's gonna like help the Aboriginals, but it's not, but they help him back, and so it's not completely just like one-sided. It was a pretty good movie, actually. I liked Quigley Down Under, so I would recommend that.
Don't forget Her Alibi.
I think I did see that one. I know I saw An Innocent Man. I've seen all of his movies except for like the Jesse Stone ones, I think. Now that I put Quigley Down under the belt, because he really hasn't done a lot of film, more TV actor. I went down to West Virginia, and last time I was down there, my Nana, her favorite movie is Gone with the Wind, and she hadn't watched it in like 40, 50 years or something. So we watched that, and she had a good time. And so she wanted to watch something again, but she didn't have one that she had picked. And so it was like me and my mom and my aunt. And I'm like, well, what movie can I find that will be appropriate for these older ladies in my life? And ended up showing them the original Shop Around the Corner with Jimmy Stewart from 1940, which my mom had seen, but my aunt and Nana had not, which it's still such a delightful movie. It's so funny. It's still surprisingly really funny. If you
a movie from 1940 is funny. Yeah, it's hard to believe.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. There's no jokes about Taco Bell in there, but it's still pretty funny. I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard to believe, man. I mean, I don't know. It's like lame jokes, right?
It's just. I mean, I don't know. It's just more situational humor, I guess, is usually how. You've not watched a lot of movies. You should watch more shit from the 40s. I mean, there's a lot of
Soup. It's funny.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly.
But that's the Marx Brothers. That's the exception. All right, I'll find out. I'm going to go find out for myself. I'm going to watch this movie. I'm going to track it down and see what the story is. I want to see if it's funny.
This is it's not like, fucking hilarious laughing my ass off movie, but it's entertaining. It's the movie that You've Got Mail is based on, which it itself is based on a play.
Of course it is. Of course it is. See, this shit's just been done over and over again for like 80 years. That makes all the sense in the world now. The way you put it like that, now I
guy
totally
meets girl, guy meets girl,
Yep,
girl meets guy. They don't get along, but really they love each other. Kind of a Christmas movie, but not overly. And what else did I watch? I checked it on Hudsucker Proxy, which man, I was gonna bring it to the show. I'm glad I didn't. This is Lesser Cohen, man. This is Lesser Cohen. Hudsucker Proxy does not hold up. I'm sorry. Some really annoying characters in there that just don't go away. Did my yearly check-in on.
Oh boy!
I was going to, and I'm glad I didn't. Did my yearly check-in on Scrooged. Yeah, that's about
Love
it.
Scrooged.
A couple other Christmas movies. Started, watching Christmas movies, but nothing really worth mentioning at this point. That's about it.
Over the holidays, you haven't watched that one yet?
No, I didn't watch that for Thanksgiving. But you know what I have been watching that you mentioned last week, Mike, is I'm loving this new season of Shrinking. Season 2 of Shrinking is really good. Today's episode is the first episode, I think, this season that I did not cry my eyes out to. So that was a change. But every episode, you're like crying, laughing. It's just such a wonderful show. And it's just a half hour long. Good stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. I got a little disappointed. I'm not going to say the spoilers, but on the last, so I haven't seen the latest one. I saw the second to latest one, where there's people eating food, and I just thought that was a little disappointing. Little telegraph there, but you're right. It's a great show. I love the show, so I'm not going to get too pissed about it. So.
I know which episode you're talking about, but I was happy with that episode, but it was more the second half of that episode that was more based on other people than the big event you were expecting. I thought that, I thought
That was you're right. That was actually well done. Yeah, you're right. So, hey, it's harder. Hey,
obliquely
well, let's not
talking
criticize
about
it, right? Let's make something of ourselves. Like Eric. Eric's making something.
Eric, what have you been watching when you weren't making movies?
I actually went to
napping.
the theater. I went to the beautiful historic Music Box Theater in Chicago, Illinois, for a friend of mine's birthday, and saw one of his favorite movies of all time on the big screen, Phantom of the Paradise, which we covered
There
on
it is.
episode 170 of the Cinema 9 podcast. I love the film, so I was excited to see on the big screen. Check back in with good old Winslow Leach and Swan. And Death Records.
I have no idea if I said it held up or not. I can't remember.
You guys hated it.
We
You
did.
guys endured it, and I praised it. It was a tough
much.
battle of an episode. Well, yeah, that was a lot of fun, man. A great time. I kept up with the Creep Tapes because they're releasing like an episode every week or so. So there's 2 more to go. The first 2, I was like, well, come on, what are these like mini-sodes? I can't do like mini-sodes. The last 2 were good. Episode 3 was fantastic, and then 4 was like, okay, this is starting to be fun now. It's like I criticized it for being like formulaic, Mike, before, but like,
Yeah.
I found that by episode 4, that's kind of what I like. Like, I anticipated the times where I knew like Joseph was just gonna freak out and run into the house and grab the Peach Fuzz mask, and he does it every single time. I don't know. It's cozy. I like it now. So I want to apologize to Mark Duplass,
Cozy.
Patrick Bryce. It's a cozy serial killer.
I apologize.
Yeah, they're not good for me. I also got bit on some lesser Cohen, man, because I haven't seen Ballad of Buster Scruggs since the first hit, and kind of
Trash.
whimpered back down the trail that it came from.
Oh, it has its moments, but yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe a couple. It's just like a head scratcher, and I believe, goddamn, is that their last film?
No, they did a Macbeth, didn't they?
Well, one of
a
them
couple
did.
years ago, technically.
Split, yeah, before the split. I think that was the last Coen Brothers film.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, man, dude.
I actually
seriously.
literally looked this up yesterday. I was looking up the Coen Brothers movies ranked in order by someone, so that's interesting.
It's like
Someone's opinion.
I wanted to like it again. Like when I saw it again, like no, and this actually was just like wasn't there for me, man. So yeah. Other than that, Mike, I've been watching nothing but old Siskel and Ebert episodes, the worst of the year episodes. I've watched like 30 of them. They're a half hour each. That's all I've been watching. It's taken so many hours of my time. They're so fucking hilarious. The way these guys, I don't remember them being this snarky and like vile and venomous about movies. Like every episode, especially Gene is hilarious. He was making me laugh my ass off. He like trashes the filmmakers personally. He literally said at one point while they were reviewing Jury Duty that Pauly Shore should consider ending his life. Not
Lord, that's
making
terrible.
movies, but that he should end his life.
That is
Wow. And
horrible.
He literally called the movie trash too. That was great.
He
So,
literally said Elizabeth Berkley's face was not good in Show.
Yeah.
That was his main criticism. He said, and her face isn't good. You have to watch these whole episodes. It's hilarious.
they really are.
That's what he said. He
Isn't
said
good.
the worst part is for a movie about strippers, her body is not that good, especially her face. That's what he says.
Oh man, this
It's
is
hilarious.
awful.
Oh,
It's great.
But I do have some Siskel and Ebert trivia for you when it comes to
Ooh.
his worst of. Let's see if we can get this one. This was making me laugh. Can you name the Oscar-winning actor that appeared 7 times on their worst of the 90s list? Not consecutive years, but he was in, and they only like offer like maybe like 6 choices per year. He was in 7 year of the worst episodes. As the
Sylvester
star.
Stallone?
As the
Sylvester
star.
Stallone?
That's a great guess. Incorrect.
Nick Cage?
No, that's also a fantastic guess. Incorrect.
Terrible guess.
I don't know. Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm
Robin
missing
Williams. Robin Williams.
Williams.
When you look back,
Oh,
he's got some
Jack.
awful.
What dreams may
Yeah.
come is trash.
Flubber was on there. What Dreams May Come was on there.
Flubber.
Jacob the Liar was on there.
That was
Being
a-
Human, that one where he had all those.
Yeah, the one where he's the
lives.
yeah.
I like Being Human. I thought
Oh,
that was
God.
a pretty good movie.
Jesus.
Oh,
Yeah,
where's the
it
one
was
where he's the
hilarious.
golden like robot guy?
Bicentennial Man.
Bicentennial Man was pretty
Bicentennial.
bad.
Yeah.
Father's
Yeah, yeah.
Day. Yeah, Father's Day.
Oh, I hate
Ooh,
Father.
that was
Fucking-
terrible.
ripped
That was
him.
a terrible movie.
Yeah,
He
it
did
really
some
got me
shit
thinking.
movies.
It
Now
really
that you
got me
mention
thinking.
it.
Like I'm like, man, those were some awful movies he was in.
You nailed it.
He's a legend.
Makes
Wow.
sense.
So much fun though.
I say that is about it for me, man.
What about you, Mike?
Well, Robin Williams is dead, just like Gene Siskel. So they have that in
Mm.
common.
And Rodrigo.
And you can't say anything bad about them because they're dead. Yeah, all three are dead. You're right. So we should probably just never talk about them again on the show. But as far as what I've been watching, well, I knocked out. We're up to date on Shrinking, of course, and I got all up to date. Finished off The Kids in the Hall. Did season 5. It's all been
Right.
hilarious and a lot of fun. I fired up. I was really excited for this movie, but then something delayed me to actually engage with it. I don't know what it is. I really don't have an opinion or a reason for why I chose not to press play on Beau is Afraid, but because I love Joaquin very much, and I like when he does these indie movies. This seems like more of an indie type deal with Beau is Afraid. I know it was based on a book. Obviously, it was very popular, I believe. But I turned it off after 25 minutes. I just couldn't take it.
Oh, dude, I made it 2 hours. I made it 2 hours
You
into that
did?
3 hour. 2 hours into that 3 hour movie, and finally, I'm like, I'm gonna save this one more hour of my life.
Yep.
Yeah,
I keep
it was
hearing.
unbearable.
Awful movie.
Uh,
And they're
It
reteaming.
was.
They're
They
the next
are?
movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're working together again. Like, oh boy.
Oh man. Well, I'm all for offbeat and maybe not knowing what's going on, but I don't know, it was just fucked up. It was like too uncomfortable, but it wasn't even like Uncut Gems, which they try to put you on edge, right? And some people don't like that. This movie's just it's anxiety ridden, but then it's also just takes you in a place that you have no idea what's happening, and it didn't get me to buy in to continue to watch. I didn't give a fuck. That's what ends up happening in that movie. So they didn't get me. They didn't latch me in. They didn't grab their tentacles around me and say, love me. I just couldn't do it. So there it is. Beau is afraid. I don't care if he's afraid or dead or alive or whatever he's doing.
I wish I'd stopped for 25 minutes.
Yeah, I know. I'm so sorry for your loss of time there. You won't get that back. And then I started watching X-Men the Animated Series, the original, though, not the 97. I'm like, I'm going to go back to the beginning, watch this whole show. So
Yeah,
I
which
started
is
up
good.
season 1. Yeah, it's great. It's so much
I did
better.
that last year.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
And
I
you
talked
enjoyed
about
it?
on the show. Yeah.
I'm sure you did.
The
bet it was great.
hard part is that like I don't think it's in order properly on Disney Plus. Or I know it
Oh, that's
originally
good.
didn't. I know it
Because that's not
originally
where I
didn't
got it
air.
from. So
Okay. I know it
Or-
originally didn't air in order, but so long as you
Oh.
are watching it in order, it's awesome. And that new season is the best season of it.
I can't wait. I'm going to watch the whole show, all the 5 seasons, and then
Great.
I'll fire up 97, the continuation. Very much looking forward to that.
That's awesome.
And I remember saying something about He-Man on the show like a month ago and saying how it was awful to rewatch it each time because it was just the same goddamn thing every episode. Even though I liked the characters and stuff, it's just so boring. But that's not what's going on here with X-Men. It's awesome. So big difference there. I went back and I fired up the Glass Onion Knives Out mystery. Remember, it's a Knives Out mystery 2 years later. And we got a new one coming out next year, the third one.
Yeah.
So looking forward to that. And I enjoyed it more this watch. I think I'm starting to like it more each time I watch it. So I don't know what that says about how, because if you've seen the movie, he'll be here. If you've seen the movie, you know that it's set up in a certain way. And some people didn't like how it's set up. Some people loved it. It's kind of hit or miss depending on who you talk to about the format of the structure of the storytelling. But I just keep watching it more and more, and it makes it very rewatchable for me. And I'm not really sure why that is, but I dig it.
All right. I need to revisit it.
Yeah, it's fun. And then there's, of course, Mike's secrets, the ones I can't share because I got to bring them to the table. Secrets. You know what? I'll mention. I did watch. I watched a Due Date. Remember Due Date with Robert Downey Jr. and Zach Galifianakis?
That's so funny. I just watched it 2 or 3 weeks ago, but didn't mention it on the show.
Oh, well,
That's funny.
I guess, yeah, I hadn't watched it since it came out. And it's kind of like it's one of it's like a planes train situation, right? Two people that are just very much at odds, and they're on a road trip together. But I turned it off. I wasn't feeling it. I'm not saying I hated it. I just wasn't feeling it.
It wasn't as good as I remembered, and Robert Downey Jr. spitting in the face of a dog disturbed me quite a bit, actually.
Oh yeah,
he just actually spit in that dog's face. That's fucked up.
He plays a real prick in that movie. He really does. I'll give him credit for that, I guess, but not the dog part. Anyways, those are some things I watched. I don't know, whatever. Do whatever you want. Watch things with your life, and then one day it's over. But cherish it while you're here, folks. Cherish your time here, damn it. We only got so much time left, god damn it. All right, so cinemanipod@gmail.com, 5-star reviews, subscribe to our YouTube, blah, 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 blah. You know how all this stuff works. If you care to support the show in any way, and of course, check out Eric's work, Slithery D Films. Big jump in subscribers on the YouTube, too. It's very nice to see you, Eric. All right, so let's get into our main event. Focus, settle in, Cinema 9 podcast. It's time for Travis's pick. The pick that may have shocked the world initially when it came out because it was sudden, and at the very end of the episode, and Eric's like, oh, it's Cold Pursuit. And I'm like, Cold Pursuit? What the fuck is that? Blew my mind.
Eric even questioned if I was fucking with you guys or not.
Yeah, waiting for the real pick.
So I had another movie all set up in my head to go, but it kind of got nixed by you guys. So I really didn't have a plan B in mind at all. And then I forgot that it was like I was supposed to have something for you guys that evening. So you texted me like as I was crawling in, like I just crawled into bed. I got up at 5 that morning and had traveled all day and then visited all evening. And then
tell me this just pick was made in delirium and you don't even remember choosing it?
But I do recall choosing it, but basically I had I had just seen an ad very shortly before that said Cold Pursuit was added to Netflix. And I was like, oh yeah, Cold Pursuit. I liked that. And then you guys like wrote me right after, like, what's the pick for next week? I'm like, fuck it. We're doing Cold Pursuit. It's been 5 years, so that makes it one of our newest movies that we've done. And it's a little bit of a cheat because it hasn't been 5 years since I watched it. I double checked. I watched it in 2022 and talked about it here on the show. But still, whatever. I followed the letter of the law. It's been 5 years since it came out, and I'd seen it before. And I feel like neither one of you guys had seen it. That's correct.
Yeah.
Okay. Nope.
I mean, I was checking in with all like the Liam Neeson pissed off revenge film.
And this one is
like
this one's like the parody of that almost in a way.
Yeah,
so
I didn't know that. I thought this was just like another one, and I'm like, maybe a break. Maybe I'll come back later. But I need a little break from these.
Well, yeah. I prefer to do shows on movies on this show that I've seen before, but I know that neither one of you guys, but both of you guys kind of like it when you haven't seen the movie before. So that was another reason I thought, throw them a new one and throw them one they haven't seen before.
Yeah, never saw it, and I've not been on that journey you were on, Eric, with all his revenge. He basically became the Charles Bronson of his era, with his revenge films, and he basically created his own little world. It seems like his wife died, and like maybe he got pissed off and wanted revenge for the whole world. I don't know. I don't know if there's a correlation there or not, but that's just a theory I have. Anyways, IMDb rating on this thing. We've never seen it. Cold Pursuit 2019. It's got that bald guy from The Wire. That guy, his name Dom something. He's always around.
Dominic Lombardozzi or something. He's had a ton of stuff.
Very good. Very good.
I had to double check the name. I had to double check, but I mean,
well, still, you nailed it
yesterday when I watched it. But
what's the rating on this
Dom
bastard?
Something. I'm going to say 6.9. I don't think it quite breaches 7. That's my guess. The fuck?
6.2.
Ground control. This is Major Tom.
Bullhorn, yeah. I'm gonna say, a 6.2 sounds real nice. I'll say a 6.4 is fine. 6.4. Actual retail price is congratulations. 6.2 is exactly what it is.
Wow,
very, very well done.
You nailed it.
With it's in the popularity. It's in the top 1,000 of popular movies on IMDb.com right now, but only 80,000 reviews. That's not nothing, but it doesn't crack the 100,000 plateau. I like to get there sometimes. It's like a barometer or like a checkpoint. So
have people really seen this movie? Right.
Exactly. I think that's very fair because I don't know if a lot of people have seen it. I had never heard of it, and I also mixed it up with like it was like a movie where like he's like wolves are attacking him. He's like in the right?
The Gray.
The Gray.
Yeah, the Gray. There you go. Okay.
Quit talking.
Now the gray. So yeah, I wasn't familiar with this, but if you people have never seen it, I don't know why you're watching and listening to this, but that's, it's very bold of you. Over on Rotten Tomatoes, some people think they're just great. They got a different vibe going on. 68% from the critics, 68. So that's a red tomato. That'll pass, the passing grade.
The D+.
20% reduction from the crowd, though. 48% from the crowd. They dumped over the bucket of popcorn on the floor.
Huh.
I'm surprised, I guess, that the critics like it 20% more than the crowd does.
Yeah.
Guess you never can tell. Critically, it goes to show. Now, this is a more recent film, so we're going to get a lot of recent reviews. Roger Ebert's dead, so we won't get him. Or
dead.
Gene Siskel. Very
also
dead.
dead.
Yeah, maybe we'll get some Goody Coons, some Honeycutt. You never know.
Goody Coons, Honeycutt.
How about Chris Honeysett? I'm not kidding. His name's Chris Honeysett from the Daily Mirror.
Is he like the stand-in for Honeycutt?
I know, right? It's too weird. I have to, even though his review is like garbage. Hello, Josh? It sounds like we're in a machine shop. It sounds like we're in a machine shop. That's what it sounds like.
I was thinking
right?
like 1950s sci-fi movie trying to contact aliens.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, he left.
Yeah, Eric's having some technical difficulties if you're listening to this. Sorry, folks.
Yeah.
We're not live. Maybe he'll pop in.
Little pop
What should
in.
we do? Just keep going?
Yeah, let's keep going. He'll figure it out. If you could vamp alone for 8 minutes last episode, we can sort through this business.
We could. We very well. Let me give you the Chris Honeysett review, which is so brief.
Right.
It's almost not worth mentioning, but I just wanted to mention it because of his name. Quirky and nihilistic. There you go.
Accurate.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree. This movie is doing. As a first-time viewer, I have no idea what to expect, and man, this movie will give you a different perspective on the world when you're done watching it. Not that it will change your perspective, but it will give you a new perspective. Maybe
I think so.
a little more nihilistic.
Interesting.
That was how I felt about it. Let's see. I don't know a lot of these newcomers here or what people. Ian Montgani from The Skinny. I don't know what The Skinny is, but he does have a picture at least, so that's usually a good sign. Caught non-committally between action and comedy. It goes from being a cheeky genre meditation to a boar spinning its snow-capped wheels.
All right.
It's a good review. I don't know if I agree with it necessarily, but I like. It looks like he tried or actually watched the movie at the very least.
I mean, whether I agree with the critic or not, I always appreciate when they have specific critiques instead of just general ones or worse summaries. I mean, again, these are blurbs that they don't choose. That IMDb takes a sentence out of a whole review and puts it up there, so it's not necessarily like they choose that. But as far as for our services go, or for our purposes go, I like it when they actually critique.
Agreed. And he actually talks about genres and whether it fits in or not. So that's a good effort. Nice try, buddy. Eric's still not back. No text update either. I know his laptop was dying last week, so if it's another week later, it might be that much closer to death. So,
it may have died completely.
You're just playing with you're playing with a ticking clock when you got something that is not working in your favor technologically.
It's time to pick up a new laptop for all these tariffs.
Yeah. Hey, Eric, hurry up and buy. Get it done, buddy.
Tariff clock is ticking.
Ding dong. Yeah, the Canadians, a lot of talk about tariffs over here in Canada. So
I bet.
Let's see. Who else we got here? We got lots of people. It seems like John Winkler. I don't know who that is. I'm going to skip him.
But what if he's related to Henry?
Oh, well, if he is, then we have no choice. He also has a solid, or at least a well thought out review. So let's read John Winkler. Right. He's from The Young Folks, whatever that is.
Some folks who are young.
Could be a YouTube channel at this point. Who knows?
Who fucking knows?
I mean, we're a
Tumblr
show that
account.
reviews. We break down movies, and nobody knows who we are, right? So yeah,
This
I
is
mean,
100% accurate.
it'd be so funny if somebody was scrolling through the Rotten Tomatoes reviews. Cinema 9 said the following: like, who
Who's
the
this
fuck are
Mike
these guys?
Govier at Cinema 9? He just
Who's this
What's it-
Travis guy? Who are these people? That's kind of funny to think
talking
about.
about Taco Bell.
I know. Paul Schrader? Yeah, that's weird. A failure on all fronts. It's not, that's the first sentence. It's not funny as a black comedy, nor is it entertaining as an action movie. It feels like someone imitating Martin McDonough, interesting comparison, and the Coen brothers without actually putting in dramatic payoff or punchlines. Well, that's another
don't
pretty good
agree-
review, whether I agree or not.
Yeah, I don't agree with the first part, but I can see some merits of the second part there with those comparisons. Sure, absolutely. I think it's kind of hard not to watch this movie, which isn't fair to the movie, but it's a crime caper that's a black comedy set in a snowy climate, and you're like, well, Fargo. Okay, Fargo. All right,
Yeah.
Fargo. It's kind of hard not to make that comparison, which again, I don't think is totally fair, but it's also not fair that Eric is still not returned to our show, so we don't always get what we want.
Well, you're right about that. Rolling Stone
How's
said
that
it
water?
best a long time ago. There it is. Keep it on the ground, though,
There
so
it is.
we don't have any
Fire hydrant.
eruptions.
Good call.
Yeah, I got complaints from Guile, too. So everyone's had enough of this goddamn thing on the table. I keep it off the table. And for all of you listening at home or watching, it's because of you folks. That's what we
Yes.
care about most.
If it sounds like he's picked up like a 10-gallon drum full of water and you hear sloshing around, that's just Mike drinking from his own personal fire hydrant.
You really can. When I go down the stairs, it's hilarious. It's like, it sounds like a gas tank, something in a tank. It's really funny. Makes
It
me
kind of
laugh.
is in a way.
It really is. Well, Eric, no updates either. I don't know what he's doing.
Maybe his phone died too.
It's possible. He looked tired. He didn't look like he was on top of his game today. So I feel like we
Maybe-
should probably just press on and hope for the best here. I mean,
Yeah, no, at this point, I mean, he would text us if he wasn't coming back, unless
Yeah,
an
you would-
EMP hit Griffith, Indiana or something.
sounds like a good movie premise.
Is it?
Maybe we should hammer a screenwriter. We should hammer out a screenplay, you and I. What do you say? Oh, there he is,
Leave
right
the
on
road behind.
cue.
Oh, here he is.
Just when we thought the EMP had hit Indiana.
Just how bad is this?
Better than not at all.
Yeah.
Dug out this Universal Soldier headset from a bin in the basement. My mic exploded.
You think it was the mic? Because the mics always sound so good. Are you sure it's not the
Mic.
computer? I know your laptop's trash.
Fucking
so-
I bent the little piece on the bit thing.
Okay. Well,
I'll get a new one, but that's what
You'll
I
get
got.
a new one.
If it's
All right.
horrible, I'll tell you what I think about this film and get the fuck out of here.
It's not great, but it's good to have
it's
you
not
back.
bad. It's doable. It's doable.
It's
Um,
yeah. We can maybe
all right,
bump
so
it
we-
in post or something.
Yeah, maybe we could work a miracle. Yeah, so we're just going through the reviews here. The last review was about how it wants to be one thing in a genre, but it's not. It's not really an action movie or a black comedy. Another one was saying it's hard not to think of Fargo, Coen Brothers, or Martin McDonough as another comp.
Fuck.
Oh, that was yours?
That's my only note. I just wrote down Martin McDonough. That's the only note I have on my paper. Martin McDonough.
Okay, do tell. Can you add more?
Well, the thing is, like, the first, 10, 15 minutes seems just like a certain specific movie, and it's done really well. It's not. It doesn't. To me, at least, it doesn't start blending them until around the second act, which kind of threw me a little bit.
Which is, for me, that's something that I like, because you're watching this movie and it seems pretty straightforward. Like you say, it's going to be like a kind of traditional kind of like Stolen or some other, or Taken or any other one word fucking revenge flick with guys of a certain age. And you're watching the movie, and then it gets to this really serious scene where they're going to go look and identify the body of their son. And you're watching the movie, and they start cranking the son's body up, and it just kind of keeps going. And you're like, what the fuck? This is kind of funny. And to me, it's incredibly bold to take a scene of parents identifying their dead kid and choosing that moment, 25 minutes in, to start with the comedy. That's the moment you choose to bring the comedy. I think that's pretty great, personally.
bold.
Yeah, it's cool.
This guy gets an award. He's the Citizen of the Year. He's a snowplow guy. And I didn't catch the Denver part until later, so it was hard to know that it was exactly in Colorado. I'm like, where's this taking place exactly? I didn't know that right away as a first-time viewer. I didn't. I was trying to pay attention, too. I really was.
Well, you don't know until it shows the Denver road sign.
But I missed that. So I went back and I watched it again like the first hour the next day, and I saw that. I was like, oh, shit, there was the Denver road sign right early on. That would
I thought it was in like fucking Antarctica because the first time he's like tear-assing around in his truck. He's like on the fucking bottom of the earth, like, making a road. Like, what the fuck is this job?
Middle of nowhere. Yeah, like isolated city.
My note is I want to live here. They're just like on top of a mountain. It's like completely reclusive, and his place is even more reclusive than everybody else's. So he's even more removed, which makes him in a good position to have that job. But it looks like a Dickens Village house or something. I don't know. It's like very, very quaint and Christmassy looking.
Yeah, I wrote a note like that he couldn't afford that house. When I saw the house, I'm like, no way, he can't afford this place.
Yeah, his wife paid for it.
Yeah,
his wife.
Okay,
his wife,
the legendary Laura Dern. Eric?
Yeah,
Laura Dern. Laura, we have this script. Could you stand around for 20 minutes, smoke a joint? That's all you got to do. What's your quote?
Walk around in socks in the snow.
I mean, I like that the whole thing with the cufflinks. You know, the movie starts and she's helping him with his cufflinks.
Cufflinks the movie.
And then after this, well, it's just twice. And then after the son dies,
I couldn't resist.
She won't help him with the cufflinks, and it's like, you know, so it just says a lot that way. You know, and I really like the moment. She's not even in the scene, but the fact that the character leaves an envelope with a blank piece of paper inside of it, like that just fucking says everything. I think that's a really nice moment. She doesn't have a lot to do in the movie, it's true, but when she is on screen, I think she sizzles. When she's like accusing him, like, have you checked his Facebook? Do you know his favorite band is, or like his favorite movies? Like, you know your son? What the fuck did you talk about? Like, you won't talk to me. Did you talk to him? Like, you're a fucking shell. Like, do something. Show your purpose. And like, meanwhile, he's out like being fucking Batman, and she has no idea.
But this is a core part of the movie. Now, I don't know if any reviewers caught on to it from what we gathered, but for me, Liam Neeson is the everyman who takes revenge. He wants to get revenge for his dead son because he wasn't a druggie. I know he wasn't a druggie. That's what every parent says, asshole. Yeah, shut the fuck up. But this guy's not a hero. This guy is a terrible husband, an absolute terrible husband. And I don't know what kind of we get to see him with, you know, his arch enemy's boy as a father. I don't know what they're trying to tell us there too, which is also another kind of indictment of the film about where are we? What kind of movie is this? Suddenly it's a father and a son of the arch enemy son and the father come together and he loves him now. It's like, oh, this kid's great. Wow, he puts his arm around me. Wow, I should open up like this to my son who's dead, or to my wife who was still alive, who gave me many, many opportunities to speak to her, but he didn't do that at all. So this guy's not a hero in that sense at all. He's also not somebody who's a role model or someone to look up to. This guy could not be. He'd rather kill people than open up. That's it.
He loses everything because of his path. I mean, he already lost his son, but he loses pretty much everything but his job and his house. He takes so much away from other people, like White Bull, who's okay, he's a drug dealer, but like his whole situation gets severely fucked up because indirectly because of choices made by Coxman, which is the character's name. Guess what Stellan Skarsgård's name is in the original version of this? Dickman. I kid you not.
That's not lazy at all. It's awesome.
Oh boy. Water break.
I'm gonna consume liquids for 20 seconds.
It's a great time for Eric to jump in. Come on.
That's all. It's all well and good, but like his character has no arc. Like Coxman, like he does all this shit, then they like really want to do the funny ending cut to credits. Take me back to the house. Let's settle things back up with Laura Dern. Something. There's no arc.
Yeah, I couldn't believe that's how they ended the movie, by having the guy who was gliding like an hour ago, all night long, by the way. They like what I gather, they took
Yeah.
peyote, had like a experience up there in the mountain, waiting to go and kill everybody. And glider guy goes through the giant snow blower. The two guys look at each other like, huh, and then fade to black.
Yep.
Weird.
Black
I
comedy.
like that it's
Hissing
weird, but
distant.
yeah. Well, of course, we have to have all the people. There was no credits in the opening, but don't worry. As Eric said, title cards of the movie. We got plenty of, I thought it was cool that every time someone died, I caught on to it after like the third death. I feel like,
Yeah, it takes
I
a
like
minute.
that. Yeah, it's fun. I like that there's a death credit for every death in the movie. There's always people like keeping score in action movies, like what's the kill count, right? So
Yeah.
it's kind of like a joke about that as well. I think it's funny. That's
And
fun.
you get a little symbol for each one of them when they die, like if they're
Jewish?
Christian or not, and that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
which is kind of funny. And then I really like the ending. I really like the end credits. The actual original movie's called In Order of Disappearance, so I guess it was an homage to themselves. But I think that was an interesting way of doing the cast at the end, having their names
I
up there
agree.
and disappear one at a time. I thought that was cool.
Eric, yay or nay?
I hated that. I thought the symbols made it seem like fucking like Paw Patrol. Like it is. The problem for me is like the character. Like once they start like this shtick, it's just like I'm waiting for the next one and for the next interstitial title to come up to be like, this guy's sayonara now, and mostly like I think it's okay. I think this is it. Liam Neeson should not have been this character, in my opinion. I think the expectations were like fucked for a lot of people. I mean, just for the business side of things. I mean, I think people were expecting just what they wanted. Him to go in and kick ass, and then like once all the black humor started and like the 5 million characters that are crammed in for like funny quote unquote little scenes, I think it lost a lot of people, including me. Like I'm interested to see the Stellan Skarsgård role because that's a little bit different for him. But for like Liam Neeson, like he's just like showing up to do what he does, and he doesn't, in my opinion, really blend well with this comedy because he's not reacting like to any of the funny moments. So it just leaves me a little bit befuddled when they happen.
Well, I mean, it's an extremely dry kind of humor, and for me, that's partly why it works. Is his responses because he's playing everything so straight.
But I had to watch this guy's son get murdered. I had to watch them grieve in the beginning. I had to feel bad for the guy. And then it's like, who cares about that? We're going to crack some jokes. It's supposed to be funny. And I'm like, what? Well, then, I don't know.
I mean, in the midst of life, we are in death, and vice versa, right? I mean, there's always like, there's stuff to be, there's things to laugh at in any given situation. I mean, when they have a similar beat when White Bull's son is killed, and they have the funeral, then like they're putting the body in the truck, and that's like raising up very slowly, kind of like
There it is again. Yeah.
but that's because White Bull and Coxman have a lot of parallels between them, and that's kind of like they're kind of like companions in terms of vendettas within the film, and that's why it kind of works for them to end up together. Yeah, I mean, I like that. For me, you watch the movie and it starts, you're like, okay, so what's going to happen here? He's going to have to like punch through a bunch of guys until he finally finds the guy that kills his son, and then he kills that, and you're like, oh wait, oh okay, he just killed the guy who killed his son. Like we're like 15 minutes into the movie. That was surprising. Like I didn't really expect Speedo to go so quickly. And then so he starts working his way up the chain, and then you're like, okay, so this is going to be like a video game movie where like we're gonna, it's like, okay, then he's gonna find this guy and kill him. He's gonna find this guy and kill him. Like, okay, big fucking deal. But then it switches on you again because this whole White Bull situation gets introduced. And so for me, I find it really interesting that it weaves in all this stuff. To me, it reminds me a lot of the movies of the 90s. Not so much. It wasn't Martin McDonough that I was thinking of. I was thinking of Get Shorty and stuff like that. This is
In a duffel bag?
I was just gonna say 8 heads in double bag. That's hilarious.
This is produced by Michael Schamberg, who did a lot of that kind of stuff back in the day, and I can kind of feel his fingerprints on it. I feel like that really kind of sardonic hitman comedy from the late 90s that we got early mid late 90s. I guess that's the 90s.
Yeah,
but you know what I mean.
The issue with me is with those comedies, we had scripts turned in by, Elmore Leonard, Quentin Tarantino, Martin McDonough, all these sharp writers. These jokes just aren't funny in this movie for me.
Yeah. Look, I like White Bull's character. I find it interesting. I want to know more about it. There's so many histories. I mean, we haven't even mentioned. So we haven't mentioned the Viking. So you got the Viking who's the big time drug dealer, and he's this asshole, the highest order. But he's got all these quirks, right? Which is so 90s that that's what it made me really think of that angle. Travis is he's the head drug lord, but he wants his son to have no high fructose corn syrup, and he's going to kill one of his men who happens to be the gay lover. Another. Not quirk, but I guess not typical in terms of casting, right? Straight, stereotypical casting, right?
Yeah.
That they're actually Dominic Lombard-Bozzi and his partner are lovers, and he just won this money. He's going to take him on a vacation, and then they tell us, basically, when they tell us that, they're like, something's going to happen to this guy because this is not going to work out, and then Baldy's going to have to be the guy who dishes out the revenge. So it's not like this movie doesn't telegraph things too, and not that it is trying to hide too much because it has so much to offer with so many worlds colliding. We haven't even talked about the cops at all yet.
So much of it's about loyalty, right? And ethics. Vikings, like, who taught you your ethics? And his son is asking before that, like, what happened, to loyalty for the Browns or whatever. Like, it's not subtle, but that is like an ongoing thing throughout. Like, who are you going to be loyal to? And Wingman, played by William Forsythe, I think kind of like shows the most. Like, are you going to be loyal to your wife? Are you going to be loyal to your old partners? Or are you going to be loyal to your blood family? And he chose his blood family, who was completely estranged from. And I really like William Forsythe in this role. You don't see that much of him these days. And I love his death scene, the way he just kind of stoically looks out the window and has makeup over that blown out nightmare of a nose that he has now, because that thing is a wreck. You got to cover that thing up if it's on screen. But yeah, good role for Forsythe. Have you seen his nose? It's intense these days.
I definitely saw his almost insultingly stereotypical wife in the film, along with like maybe two other female characters that are just underwritten, like not very interesting characters when it comes to women in this movie.
I would push back on that a little bit. I thought that his wife, like when they make Liam Neeson sit there while they make out, she makes him sit there for that. He's really uncomfortable. He don't like PDA. I thought that was like she was showing her control, and then she also throws it in our faces when she spits on her husband's coffin. It's not like she's devastated. She's like, "Fuck you."
Like, yeah, like I thought you were out of this fucking life, but you still got taken from me for being a fucking criminal. Fuck you, I'm out. I like that too, and I really liked the ex-wife character of Viking. I thought that she asserts herself well. She kind of strolls in and has like a few moments that are, I think, good moments in the film, and bringing Viking down to size and just really demonstrating that despite the fact that he is, this big crime lord, he's a fucking like incel. Well, not incel, but he's like he's a
baby
fucking douche. Yeah, he's a fucking little tiny, petty little man, and she really highlights that well.
Yeah, I thought you did too. I disagree. I know the Laura Dern character, I don't think she's sidelined. I think it's intentional because of who her character's husband is. That goes back to my point. So she's like, I'm out of here. I got nothing to do. I'm leaving. What am I going to do? Stick around for this shit? Right?
Right. It makes sense. Like, I'm not doing anything in this movie. I'm going home.
Yeah, it was an easy paycheck for her. Hopefully that was like 4 days of shooting. But I do think that character's, this guy, the Viking, with his ex-wife, who he tries to always have these lines. He's always got a fucking comeback or like a one-up to do to everybody, including his ex-wife, when he tries to sell us with these tales about used to love my blow, used to love my powder, used to ride me like a bronco through my powder. And I'm like, no one cares, dude. She doesn't care either. Shut the fuck up.
Well,
yeah.
I hated all
the
those
cops
scenes.
though.
Oh yeah, what about the cops? 5 minutes of screen time. Emmy Rossum wasted. Worst lines I've ever heard in a movie by cops. Let's save the town and catch these guys. That's really big.
I love their. Okay, so you got. I never remember his name, but he's always played.
John Doman. I finally learned it.
Oh, good. Thank you so much, because
like,
he's played some of the biggest pricks ever on The Wire, Damages. There's a bunch of shows. He's always like huge prick, right?
He played a great Walter Falcone. He played a Carmine Falcone really well in the original Nolan, in the Nolan Batman trilogy.
Oh,
Yeah,
great.
he was
well,
Carmine Falcone,
Tom
I believe,
Wilkinson.
wasn't?
I thought it was Tom
Oh
Wilkinson.
shit! Oh no, he played Carmine Falcone on Gotham. I take that back. My bad.
You got it. Okay, you
He did
figured
good
it
on
out. But
He did good. On
I didn't see that show. But I love his work. I always like seeing him on screen. But in this one, this is a lazy ski town, and he makes it perfectly clear. People just want to fuck, get high, and ski here. And it makes all the sense in the world. And you're right, Eric, that she's like so dirty Harry, as he calls her, about the kids smoking weed and shit. It's like that's a cop. A cop would be like that. And there's also a laid back cop. I think is another environment we get thrown into, the world of policing, where you have different opinions on how things should be done, right? So it's just another world with 8 other worlds mixed into it in one movie. I think it's too many worlds. I really do.
It is a little too much. I mean, like the guy we'll get to it, I'm sure, but the guy with the motel trick, we'll get to him later. There's stuff like that where it gets to be like a little too much. But I like the cops because I like the dynamic between them, because you have like the old grizzled guy who should be like the hardliner, and you got like the young, fresh, like green young girl, like the pretty young girl. But instead, she's the one that actually does police work. She's like, doesn't it bother you that I was able to figure out more in an hour than you have in 30 years of police work? Nope. Like, nope. And you're like, is he dirty? No, he's just fucking lazy and doesn't want to deal with any of this shit. And like they find the body of a baby hawk, and he's like puking his guts out.
Yeah, that's right.
He's just a shitty cop. I like that dynamic. How she is the one that like, okay, I'm gonna be fucking gung ho and do this, and he's just like, no, this is my job's a cakewalk. What are you trying to make me do here? But yeah, so the motel trick, that is one of my biggest complaint in the movie is not the motel trick. Like the joke explanation thing that happens earlier on, that's fine, but then it's all just kind of setting it up for later on for the guy to lay on the bed and have his dick shot up by a bunch of Utes. Like, okay. All right, I don't know.
That's right.
That was a little much, maybe. I like the actor though. I thought he did a good job.
He did. He was a total douchebag as a character, and he deserved it. So some people think, hey, he deserves it, right? Other people are gonna feed into the fact that Doman is known as being a prick, but then he's a lazy cop in this movie. So they're trying to, the director, the writers, they're trying to go against type. They're trying to surprise you in a little way, or maybe just go misdirection with some of it. But yeah, I don't know. As we start to come to the end here, there's so much to dissect that maybe that's life though. Like you come in and out of these worlds, and a guy doesn't know any better that he's this dude he wants revenge. That's all he knows, because he can't open up and talk, like I said, but he also creates so much carnage along the way, and the kid just takes off in a snowblower at the end. Where's that kid go? Does he know how to drive that thing for real? I mean, that snow's like 5 feet high. It's crazy.
Yeah, he's not going to go very far. But I like that the movie ends, and you're like, oh, that kid just lost his dad, but he didn't have to see his dad die. Didn't have to hear his dad die because he had the things on, and he's going to be much better off without his dad. You're like, that's not very often you could say that about a character, that he's going to be significantly improved because the death of his father. But that's again like getting into the weird things about this movie. There's like a big thing going on with fathers and sons and loyalty, and like all these just kind of like different and like old promises. There's like these things, and especially the way that like our choices can affect others that we're completely unaware of, and that we don't always know who we're dealing with, who we should trust. Wingman, for instance, is like, you can't do it yourself because he doesn't have. He's like, you can't kill a man. He's like, I've already killed 3. But Wingman's like, let's get the Eskimo involved instead. And like that turns out to be a terrible idea because he doesn't trust his brother.
Yeah.
Well, for everybody. For everybody. I mean, for Wingman, it ultimately gets Wingman killed too. Wingman.
Well, at least he had ass cancer. Wingman. Yeah, he was gonna die, I guess. I don't know unless he made that up. I don't.
I feel like
is that like cancer of the prick, Al Pacino? Yeah, cancer of the prick. You didn't know that?
Cancer of the wrist.
Yeah, I don't know.
These cops, even at like the end, like showdown, like do they even like figure out what's going on and like enter into the third act?
I don't know. I mean, like, because if they did, then we would know that Coxman was fucked. But I mean, he rides off into the sunrise, basically, him and White Bull. So I think it's pretty well suggested that they're getting away with all this.
Again,
and
for me, that just means, well, why did I have to waste that time with the cops? I would have been more interested to figure out like how he's finding these people. Like he knocks off those first 3 people in like 6 minutes. Like, I'd be more interested to figure out like how he pursued that, and even more, to be honest with you, is why he like didn't just keep his reign of terror going, and he's just like, well, I'm gonna go find a hitman now. I can't do it anymore. Like, I wanted to see his lust for vengeance take over instead of him just be like, let me know when it's done. I'll keep looking at the internet. Like,
Yeah, I was surprised by how quickly he acquiesced to that idea, but I think he accepted his brother's expertise and knowledge, and that, like, okay, I can't reach this guy, but I want him to die. But we do see, like, he's told where to find Speedo, and then Speedo tells him where to find Limbo.
Yeah, that's all pretty, like, you're right, it happens quick. And then he gets stuck after killing Santa.
Somebody knows where like Coxman like lives and is like in the same town that the kid goes into school in. Like, this doesn't seem like a big area where it's an impossible search. I don't know. It left me cold I think after that happened. His story's just like, he took a back burner and he was out of the picture for so long to have these conversations with the ex-wife and with the kid about Bach. And I'm like, what is this? Are you trying to be like a series here crammed into a 2-hour movie? I don't know, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is like a good 10-15 minutes where he just gets suddenly sidelined and he comes back on screen. You're like, oh yeah, our hero.
You're gonna kidnap the son now. Yeah. It's like, yeah, you're right. That's a very good point. I felt a little bit the same way as well. And we didn't have time though to investigate his I don't know, his confusion or uncertainty about whether he should listen to his brother or not. Like, because they didn't have time to go into that dynamic because we had too many other things going on. So
much of this movie just happens. You're like oh shit, okay. Well, like I was saying earlier with Speedo and how quickly that happens, or his suicide attempt when he's about to kill himself.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't really lead up to that. Just like, okay, and then, but again, like, that is also kind of an early moment for comedy because he's talking it with his mouth full of a gun.
Yeah, I mean, that is some dark comedy. That's black comedy gold right there. This guy comes in he's almost been killed. He was stuck in the woods all night. He's all fucked up. And then he sees his buddy's dad about to pull the trigger on his own life. And then you have this script flip right there while he's like, and then he takes it, which I didn't laugh as much. I just thought it was like, I'm like, wow, this is really well done. They're not backing down from this. Like, this guy was going to kill himself, and now he's confused with a rifle in his mouth. That happens, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of little moments like that in the movie, I guess, that to me make it entertaining.
Well, yeah, okay. Anything else we haven't covered, gentlemen? Anything else about Cold Pursuit before we wrap it up?
I think we've touched on the main points. I like it when he chokes Speedo to death and like thinks he's done. And like every time someone gets choked in the movie, it takes like 2 seconds and the guy's dead. But in real life, it would take forever. So he finishes choking Limbo. Then it's like, oh shit, and has to go back and choke him some more. I thought that was really fun.
Yeah, you see him more tired when he's trying to take out Santa. It's like such a workout. Like, ugh.
Tired
yeah,
old
this guy's
man?
old. Yeah, he should be tired,
together.
man. It's hard work. This guy's like 55, 60 years old.
They share a laugh together before he blows his head off.
You're so fucked, man.
That's funny.
And the chicken wire. He learned it in a crime novel. Genius.
Makes sense. It actually makes sense.
Man, there's a lot of true crime podcasts out there. We should all know how to kill someone now. Everybody should be an expert in it because everybody loves true crime, apparently.
Yeah, don't go to just Home Depot to get chain, rope, duct tape, and a big
lime.
Knife. At least go to like 10 different stores. Lime, bag of lime. Yep,
there it is.
Buys a bag of lime, red flag them. Save that.
Yeah, you got it. You're right. You goddamn right.
I liked White Bull. In fact, I didn't write it down, but I would have liked to have seen like a movie just about White Bull's team. Those guys were funny and interesting.
They were good, yeah. I mean, and dark too. Like, they're funny and fun, but then like the one guy's like, you ever get bitten by a kid and like keeps antibiotics? Like this guy's kidnapped kids before.
I like
Jesus
that
fuck.
stuff. I like when they went to the hotel and they fucked with the
the reservation thing,
the reservation joke. I liked all that, and I liked that. Yeah, they're there
mountaintop
for a big
stuff.
job, but like they're like, let's go have fun. Like, this is a resort, and we've been out for these past. Let's go have fun. Like, that stuff was working for me.
I liked it too.
Yeah, not all bad, but
all right. Well, I brought it to the table. I'll start her off. Yeah, this is my second time. I was entertained both views. I was pleasantly surprised the first time I watched it that it wasn't what I thought it was going to be. I threw it in one afternoon thinking it was going to be fucking Taken 2 or some shit like that. Just kind of like a straightforward beat 'em up flick, but instead I just kept on getting more and more involved into the wry humor and these short-lived introductions and the and to me, it's amusing. It gets maybe a little tedious, but it's amusing. Like the janitor just kind of being like, "Oh, okay, I'll take the money now," and then it just cuts to you just see like, okay, there's his name, he's dead. Yeah, I think it's not a brain melter. It's not like there's a ton to talk about here that we got a full episode's worth out of it. Makes me happy. I wasn't sure that we would because it's not like the deepest movie. There's a lot that happens, but there's only so much to get into the themes and stuff. But overall, to me, a totally entertaining movie. I think a 6.2 is criminally low on this thing. I wouldn't give it a 10 or anything. It's certainly got its flaws, but I think it's a bit of a throwback to a certain kind of movie that was prevalent in the 90s, and I enjoyed watching it again. It holds up for me.
Yeah, that's the thing though, because I came in and I'm like, dude, I just watched Equalizer. I'm down. I love revenge thrillers. Let's bring it on. I cannot wait for this. And I got thrown, like I say, mostly because of Liam Neeson's casting. It was hard for me to ease into it because I couldn't tell. Even with the morgue scene, I was like, oh, they're commenting on how awkward like someone dying could be, and like these weird moments about like it's just awkward, and you're supposed to be mourning, but you're like, oh, make that stop. But I guess it was supposed to be a joke. Somebody like Bill Murray, if he played Coxman, I think this all could have worked because I think it would have been more interesting. Or maybe Steve Martin, something like that. If you want an older guy who's getting out revenge and they're blending comedy, and like it's evident that it's comical instead of Liam Neeson playing it straight. There's
a lot of teeth that get knocked out here. It's hard to imagine Steve Martin knocking out numerous guys' teeth, but I get your point.
Okay. Yeah.
And Laura Dern.
I didn't care about any of these characters. I hated this main villain. I hate when movies set up a main antagonist that's not at all intimidating, and I mean not at all, just obnoxious and annoying. That's always a problem for me because I can't even have the lust for revenge. I'm just like, who cares about this? Script wasn't there. It was McDonough light. It was Elmore Leonard light. A couple of interesting moments. I see what it's going for here, but this wasn't for me, dude. I can't get behind Cold Pursuit. Didn't hold up for me.
Okay. Well, one thing we didn't talk about was how, kids dying from opioid ODs. That's how these kids die, and people just dismiss it. Like, but not Liam Neeson's character. He's like, well, wait a minute, my kid wasn't a druggie, and that becomes a whole thing. And that, 2019 was definitely a big deal and could be exploited, and that was definitely timely and appropriate. So I thought that that's a good way for criminals to maybe take advantage of getting rid of people that might be ignored by society otherwise. So that was topical. I was pissed off because I was like, oh, God damn it. I don't do these. I can't stand the fact that Liam Neeson just decided to dedicate. This guy was in Schindler's List. This guy is a huge star in terms of not just being an action star. He's a great actor. He could do it all. And he just decided to go in this direction. And I totally tuned it all out. I don't give a shit about any of the takens. And the fact that we started this movie out, I was like, God damn it, this is going to be one of these bullshit movies. Fuck this. I wasn't feeling it at all. I was like, God damn it, I don't care. But then, and then the kid dies, and I'm like, oh, fuck. Here we go. But he never gets like that angry. I mean, he kills some people. That's obviously angry, but he's not like obsessed. He doesn't have a particular set of skills. So he's just this doofus who's trying to get revenge on his kid dying. And I started to get more interested in all the other areas. I think that the Viking's a douchebag, but he's definitely intimidating. I mean, because he's got this powerful, mob of his. He's got a huge empire that he controls.
Right? It's like a trust fund baby, but he's a mafia trust fund baby.
Total douchebag for sure. But, I mean, he'll kill anybody at any given moment. And it's like, Jesus Christ, why do these people... You start to ask... Why do these people work for him? He's talking about character and how he's a judge of character, but like, why does Lombardozzi so dedicated to this guy? Because he doesn't see it until he loses his lover, how terrible this guy is to work for and what a mistake he's made, and then he gets revenge on him. So I thought that the guy was intimidating overall because his presence was so unpredictable. It's like, who will die next? Who will die next? Everybody was up for grabs to be shot and killed or murdered in some way, and that is interesting. So it drew me into the plot. which is not even that big of a deal. It's just more about these characters and the world. And I'm really interested. It reminded me when I lived in Denver, I lived on the outskirts, and I didn't live up in Kehoe or in a mountain town or a ski resort town. But we went up there, and there's like these little gambling huts up there, and like up in the mountains in the middle of nowhere. And it's really cool, and it really is isolated. It reminded me of that, and it took me back. So it's not a great movie, but I find it entertaining enough that I'm going to say this movie holds up because it's enjoyable to watch enough, but it's not some taken bullshit. So don't be taken in by it, you sons of bitches.
All right. 2 out of 3. I'll take it. That sounds about right for this movie. It's not a perfect movie. It's got its flaws. But
also, I'd like to say this has nothing to do with the movie, but air marshal humor is not funny. Like somebody's on a plane. This is so like 2011, 2010 after 9/11 and the war on terror. Oh shit, there's an air marshal somewhere on this plane. Let's make a joke about it. They do it in Bridesmaid. They did it in Due Date. It's not funny. That humor does not hold up, and I just want people to know that.
Locked
Quick
in.
point. There it is. Well, so we're out of order. It's
yeah.
Okay.
We're out of order this week or this cycle.
That's right. We have cycles. We have a lot
my
of cycles.
dance cycle. My
my menstrual cycle.
My dance quintet. My cycle.
The Japan Force. So I said this a couple weeks ago. I don't know if you guys remember that I already knew what I wanted to do. I saw this movie. I didn't see it, watch it, but I was like, oh shit, this movie. They have to do this. So I'm going to stick to my word. I'm ready to go. I know what I want to do. We're going back to 2004, and we are going to find out. I know it's a holiday season right now, but I'm sure after this pick, we'll get holiday-y. But it's time to go back to 2004 and find out if a movie starring Ashton Kutcher can hold up or not.
What?
That's right. It's time for the Butterfly Effect, 2004.
Okay, really, really important question.
Yes.
Are we watching the original theatrical cut or the one with the alternate ending that the director wanted? Because that makes a world of difference for that movie. Because the original theatrical ending is fucking stupid, and then the director's cut is pretty good.
I think the director's cut one.
Whoa. This has come up before.
Oh, boy.
I just watched the version that's like was fixed.
But that's the version that was. So the director's cut version is the version that was on DVD. So if you went to Blockbuster and rented it, that was what you saw, because they changed it between theaters and rental because it was panned so badly because of the ending.
Yeah, the copy I have is the one I'm going to watch, and I believe, it's
got a darker ending, right?
Yes.
Okay, so that's
the one I have.
That's what I'll try to watch too if I can find it, because I don't own it. I don't
If we
fucking
see
own
different
Butterfly.
versions, then I guess we'll just have to deal with it.
That happened with The Descent, so.
Oh shit! Yeah. Okay, well,
we'll do our best. I'll try and find that version.
Ashton Kutcher.
Ashton Kutcher had to take acting lessons halfway through the movie. True story.
Yes.
Hey, we got Ethan Suplee. It's gonna be great. Okay.
All right.
All right. So next week it's the Butterfly Effect. The director's version, as far as I see it, or just the one that was released on DVD. We'll leave it there. Whatever one you guys watch is what we'll watch in the end, and we'll just have to do what we do. So join us, if you will, for the Butterfly Effect. Travis, Michael, and Eric. Thank you, everybody. I think we'll say goodnight now.
Night. Anything else? Just no Kanye.
Where's Santa?